In the outer reaches of the cerulean expanse, the Avira system glowed like a distant jewel. Pilots and traders passing by whispered tales of a strange world named Avira III. On this planet lived a race of beings so free and so kind that most off-worlders did not know what to make of them. Some called these women the alien girls, because their bodies shone with soft light, and their ways seemed very different from any other species. Though they seemed both wild and gentle, few dared visit their home. Those who stayed too long often never returned. Rumors drifted from ship to ship about the alien girls. Some said that they could talk to the glowing trees. Others claimed that they rode on the backs of sky serpents. They looked like they could befriend a star, but they could also tear a freighter to pieces, sailors warned. The world of Avira III was alive with color. Vast forests of neon green trees stretched as far as the eye could see. Rivers of glowing water ran between hills of blue grass. At night, the land sparkled under 2 silver moons. The alien girls built their homes in high tree villages hidden among glowing leaves. Their houses were woven from living vines that shone faintly when touched. A soft hum rose from the forest floor, as if the very plants sang a quiet song. This land held secrets that no one else could truly see. Each clan of alien girls lived in its own part of the forest. Some clans settled near waterfalls that fell from floating islands in the sky. Others dwelled by meadows that glowed with thousands of tiny floating flowers. Even the animals of Avira III had a glow about them. Gentle creatures with long necks fed on bright leaves. Small birds with wings like prisms danced across the sky. The alien girls cared for these animals as if they were younger sisters. They moved through the trees with a grace that seemed to make the forest itself bow in respect. Their bodies were tall and slim, with skin that shimmered like moonlight on water. Their eyes glowed gold or blue when they were happy or upset. Their long hair flowed like water, often woven with glowing strands of plant material. The alien girls wore clothing made from plant fibers that changed color to match their feelings. When they laughed, their clothes turned soft pink. When they hunted, their clothes turned deep green to blend with the forest. To outside eyes, these women seemed like living rainbows that could roar with force or calm with kindness. Though they had a wild side, they were also gentle healers. They used glowing moss to make poultices for sick animals. They sang low songs that could soothe painful thoughts. Their voices rose in soft chants as they danced under twin moonlight. In their rituals, they used music and movement to show respect for all life. They hunted only when they needed food, and they offered gifts from their harvest to the forest spirits. In this way, they balanced life and death in a cycle that felt natural to them. Many off-worlders guessed these practices were strange. They thought the alien girls had no rules and no care for their land. Stories spread that the women would attack ships that got too close. Others said they would heal any wounded stranger who asked. Neither side fully understood. They saw only a flash of bright color or a sudden song in the trees. They heard wild laughter as a sudden echo in the night. They felt an energy that made them both afraid and enchanted. Yet among all the rumors, one truth stayed hidden. The alien girls held knowledge older than most star maps. They knew how to make medicines from glowing plants that could heal wounds in mere hours. They knew how to ride the sky serpents that fed on airborne roots. They knew the secret ways of the forest, paths that shifted with moonlight. To them, the forest was not just home, it was part of their family. Each tree and creature joined in a bond that no outsider could break. As the tale of the alien girls spread farther, more human explorers came to see for themselves. Few had the courage to step onto Avira III. They did not understand that the wildness of the alien girls was not a danger but a gift. They did not know that their gentleness was as strong as any steel or shield. In the silence before a human arrival, the forest held its breath. The alien girls waited to show the galaxy their worth, even if no one yet had seen the true light they carried. Yet no one knew their true nature. The silver hull of the reconnaissance ship, Horizon's Edge, cut a graceful path through Avira III's pale green atmosphere. High above the glowing forests, Commander Celine Tsai peered through the reinforced viewport. She had traveled many light years to reach this remote world, guided by faint signals that suggested something remarkable lived below. In her heart, she felt both awe and caution. Stories told by other explorers painted the alien girls as unpredictable, too wild to trust, and too gentle to fear. Yet Celine believed that every species had value. Her mission was to learn the truth and show her findings to the United Earth Exploration Corps. Through the ship's external cameras, Celine watched a group of alien girls glide between the luminous trees. Their bodies shimmered slightly, as though lit from within. Some carried slender bows tipped with crystal arrows that glowed violet. Others cradled small creatures, bioluminescent animals whose skin shone like embers in the dark. Below them, transparent vines grew over tall tree trunks, weaving in spirals that seemed to dance. The light from the flora and fauna glowed softly under the planet's pale, double-moon night sky. To Celine, this world felt alive in ways her training could never fully capture. She activated the ship's remote observation drone and lowered it slowly toward the forest canopy. The drone's sensors recorded every detail: the way the leaves pulsed with faint blue light, the hum of arthropods that fluttered like living lanterns, and the alien girls themselves, moving in quiet ritual. One of them, tall and slender, paused on a broad branch. Her skin gleamed silver and her long hair drifted like a river of starlight. When the drone slipped closer, the alien girl raised her hand in what seemed a silent greeting. Celine's heart quickened. She had hoped for contact but never expected such a clear sign of awareness. Moments later, the drone's signal cut out. Celine frowned at the control panel. On her screen, the view went dark as the forest swallowed the tiny machine. A single message blinked. Drone lost. Unidentified interference. She tapped a request to attempt a signal boost, but nothing came back. It was as though the forest itself had reached out and captured the device. Though anxious, she felt curiosity. Above all, if the alien girls had power to snatch her drone from orbit, they must hold knowledge far beyond simple forest magic. Celine activated the ship's speaker array and broadcast a gentle pseudo-musical sequence, tones chosen for their universal mathematics. She had learned that many species responded to harmonious sounds. The soft sequence rose and fell, echoing through tangled branches below. In return, a cascade of glowing vines waved gently, as if dancing to an unseen rhythm. From the shadows emerged Kyra, one of the clan's senior hunters. She stood motionless, bathed in pale moonlight, her golden eyes locked on the ship. Celine held her breath as the music quieted. Would the alien girl accept her greeting, or would she turn away in silent disapproval? To Celine's relief, Kyra stepped forward and tapped on a cluster of vines. At her gesture, the vines glowed brighter, sending ripples of light across the forest. Then Kyra raised a hand and spoke in a soft, lyrical tone. The words were strange, like wind chimes carried on a gentle breeze. Celine activated her universal translator algorithm, which struggled at first to match the alien shapes to meaning. After several seconds, a fragment came through. Why does the starcraft enter our home? The question carried none of the accusations others had feared. Instead, it held calm curiosity, as though the alien girl simply wished to understand. Commander Celine Tsai, Celine replied, using her suit's vocal amplifier. I come in peace. I wish to learn about your people and your world. I mean, no harm. She spoke slowly, choosing simple words. Though her translator remained imperfect, Kyra seemed to catch enough to know Celine meant well. For a long moment, Kyra studied the vessel, then turned and motioned toward the forest floor as if inviting Celine to descend. The commander felt a flutter of excitement. This was more than she had hoped for. Once the landing sequence began, Celine prepared to step out into the unknown. She donned a lightweight exploration suit specially designed for alien environments. Its surface had adaptive camouflage, which would help her blend with the luminous greens and blues of the forest. As the hatch opened, she stepped onto the landing pad, breathing filtered air that matched the planet's composition. The forest around her pulsed with light and sound. She felt as though she had entered a living organism. Kyra stood waiting, at the edge of a bioluminescent clearing. Her posture was regal yet relaxed, as though she belonged to this land more deeply than any wanderer. Around her, other alien girls peeked from behind glowing vines and floating jellyfish-like creatures that drifted in the humid air. Their expressions were curious but cautious. None carried weapons openly, but Celine noted the faint glimmer of bows and blades hidden among their flowing garments. Each garment, made from woven plant fibers, changed color in subtle shifts: teal near the waist, shifting to lavender around the shoulders. When Celine bowed slightly, several of the alien girls bowed back in their own graceful way, dipping their hands to their chests. To guide Celine further, Kyra stepped ahead, leading her along a path lined with softly glowing mushrooms. The light from the fungi cast dancing shadows on Celine's suit, making her feel both seen and hidden at once. As they walked, small animals with glassy skin scurried underfoot, rodent-like creatures, with eyes that sparkled like sapphires. The plants rustled overhead as if whispering secrets. Celine reached out, gently touching a leaf that felt cool and moist. Its surface cradled a tiny pool of bioluminescent liquid that glowed like liquid moonlight. She collected a sample for analysis but did so slowly, making sure to respect the life she held. After a short journey, they reached a circular clearing where a ring of stone tablets stood, ancient carvings etched in spirals and shapes. The carvings glowed faintly as if charged by the planet's strange energies. Celine knelt to examine one tablet. The symbols spoke of a deep bond between the alien girls and the planet, how each girl was born from the forest's heart and returned to its roots after her time. Kyra watched silently, her golden eyes unreadable. Celine felt humbled. She understood that this clan held knowledge both sacred and powerful. Kyra spoke again, and Celine's translator rendered her words. "You see our ways. Will you carry them to other worlds? Will you help us share our light?" Celine rose, her heart full. "I will do everything I can," she answered. Even if her words faltered, Kyra seemed to grasp her promise. The alien girls gathered closer, their glowing bodies casting soft light on Celine's face. In that moment, a new understanding blossomed between human and alien, two species meeting with open hearts amid the glowing forest. And though Celine knew dangers might still lie ahead, she felt a spark of hope that this first meeting could change the course of many worlds. High above the glowing trees of Elvira III, Commander Celine Sci followed Kyra along a narrow path of living wood. The path wound through vines that arched overhead, making a tunnel of soft light. All around, the forest thrummed with life, insects that flashed like small lamps, birds with crystal feathers, and animals that scurried underfoot. Each step felt like a step inside a dream. At last, Kyra led Celine to a clearing where the sky opened wide. In the center stood a circle of huts built into tree trunks. The huts looked alive, made from woven vines that glowed pale blue. Walkways of wood linked one hut to another, and rope bridges swayed over clear streams below. Alien girls moved about carrying baskets of glowing fruit, or tending to plants and tools made from living vines. Celine nodded as Kyra guided her to a large tree hut, where Yelana, the clan healer, waited. Yelana's robes shifted from green to blue as she moved, and her eyes glowed with calm amber light. When Celine bowed, Yelana dipped her head. "Welcome," Yelana said, and the translator picked up her gentle voice. "You come far to walk with us. May your heart be open." "I am honored. I wish to learn," Celine replied. Nearby, alien girls watched quietly, their glowing faces full of curiosity. Celine felt their attention like a gentle wind. Inside, the tree hut, vine curtains closed behind them. The interior was warm and peaceful. Bioluminescent plants on the walls gave off a soft glow. The floor was a board of polished wood, covered with moss mats. Shelves carved in the tree held jars of powders that shimmered like stardust. Yelana motioned for Celine to sit. Kyra joined them, leaning against a living wood pillar. Yelana crushed a glowing herb into a violet paste and placed a small amount on Selene's forearm. A gentle warmth spread through her body. "This helps you breathe and rest in our world," Yelana explained. "It links you to our rhythm." Selene felt the air around her seem sweeter, the sounds of the forest clearer. Outside, Elvira III's twin moons shone brighter, and the forest glowed with life. Through the curtain, Selene saw other huts and gardens lit by soft light. A group of alien girls danced near glowing mushrooms. Their robes shifted color from teal to lavender with each motion. They moved with slow, precise steps, as though speaking in a language of light. When the dance ended, Yelana joined the circle. She moved with calm strength, touching the mushrooms so they glowed brighter. The light rose into the night like a blessing. Selene felt a deep calm surround her, as though the forest itself welcomed her. After the ritual, Kyra took Selene to a high platform in the trees. They climbed a ladder of woven vines to stand on a broad branch. Below, the forest canopy stretched, without end. Above, the sky opened into a sea of stars. There, floating on gentle air currents, were the sky leviathans, great creatures with long, smooth bodies that drifted like living glass. "These are our companions in trials," Kyra said. "Each daughter must bond with a sky leviathan when she comes of age. They share thoughts and strength." Selene watched as a young alien girl stepped onto the platform. Her skin glowed soft lavender, and her hair drifted like a halo. A sky leviathan approached and lowered its head. Their eyes met, both glowing like twin stars. A soft glow began between them, as though they shared a private light. Yelana's voice came through. "The trial is a gift and a challenge. If her heart is true, the bond will strengthen both. If she doubts, the Leviathan drifts away." Selene felt moved. She saw not wildness without purpose, but a deep link between mind and world. The girl's face shone with joy when the bond took hold. The Leviathan lifted her, carried by the air currents. She looked down, eyes bright with wonder and pride. Kyra spoke softly. "Our world is alive. We live with the forest animals and leviathans. This bond teaches respect and how to find strength and gentleness." As they descended, Selene realized her mission carried both honor and responsibility. The alien girl's ways were stranger than any she had known. She would share their stories, but also guard this place from those who saw only profit or fear. Under the glow of twin moons, Selene felt her journey had only begun. She would learn more of the bond that made the alien girls so remarkable, and help them show the galaxy that wild and gentle could exist together. The next morning, soft sunlight filtered through the glowing leaves of Elvira III. The forest looked peaceful, but something important was about to happen. Commander Selene Sai stood near a high tree platform, watching the Sky Clan prepare for a special event. Today was the day of the trial, a coming-of-age ceremony, where a young alien girl would try to bond with a Sky Leviathan. If the bond was successful, she would be accepted as a full member of the clan. Selene had been invited to watch the ritual. She felt honored, but also curious. Everything she had seen so far showed her that the alien girls were not just mysterious. They were skilled, wise, and deeply connected to their world. This trial, she believed, would reveal even more about their strength. The trial would take place on the Cloud Spire, a tall natural tower made of stone and vines that rose above the forest. From the top, one could see the endless green of the trees and the glowing rivers below. Selene followed Kyra, the hunter who had become her guide and friend, as they climbed the spiral path leading upward. As they reached the summit, Selene saw a circle of alien girls gathered in silence. In the center stood Talina, the girl who would take the trial today. She looked calm, but her eyes showed a hint of nervousness. Her skin glowed softly, and her long hair was tied with blue and silver threads. She held no weapons, only a small pendant made of sky crystal, passed down by her mother. Yelana, the healer, stepped forward. "Talina," she said in her calm voice, "you have trained, learned, and waited. Today you face the sky. You do, not conquer it. You become part of it. Do you accept this path? I do, Talina replied. The others stepped back. A soft hum began as the alien girls started to sing. Their song was slow, deep, and filled with meaning. It was not just music, it was a call. From high above, a sky leviathan appeared. Its long, glowing body moved like a ribbon through the air. Its wings shimmered with light, and its eyes reflected the sky. Talina stepped toward the edge of the platform. The leviathan circled once, then came closer, floating just in front of her. She closed her eyes, holding out both hands. The leviathan paused, watching her with silent intelligence. For a few long moments, nothing happened. Then the bond began. A soft light formed between Talina's hands and the creature's forehead. It glowed brighter, connecting them in a ribbon of energy. Talina opened her eyes. Her face changed. Her fear faded and a calm strength filled her expression. The leviathan lowered its body and she stepped onto its back. Slowly they rose together into the air, circling the cloud spire in a dance of light and wind. Celine watched with wide eyes. The beauty of the moment struck her deeply. This was not a simple test of bravery. It was a connection between two living beings, one of trust, balance, and harmony. The others clapped their hands softly, a sign of great respect. Kyra smiled beside Celine. She has passed, she said. She is now one with the sky, as Talina and the Leviathan landed. The energy between them faded, but the bond remained. Talina stepped down with steady feet. Her eyes glowed brighter now, and her movements were smoother, more confident. Yelena placed a hand on her shoulder. You are ready, she said. That evening, the Sky Clan held a small celebration. They danced around glowing fire flowers and shared fruit drinks and soft songs. Talina sat with her younger sister, telling her what the experience had felt like. It was like hearing the wind speak, she said. I didn't control it, I joined it. Celine sat beside Kyra, sipping a warm drink made from sky fruit. I never imagined something like this, she said. Where I come from, trials are about fighting or surviving. But this was beautiful. Kyra nodded. Many think we are wild because we do not live like others, but we are not without order. We simply follow the rhythm of Elvira. The sky, the forest, the creatures, they are not separate from us, they are part of us. Celine looked around the glowing village. Children laughed nearby. Older girls worked quietly with healing herbs, and Talina's Leviathan floated lazily in the sky above. This was not a tribe, lost in the wild. It was a society built on respect, care, and strength through unity. She felt a deep sense of purpose growing inside her. The galaxy needed to understand this. People needed to see that being wild did not mean being savage, and being gentle did not mean being weak. As the stars appeared above, Celine made a silent promise to herself and to the Sky Clan. She would protect this place. She would help them share their truth. The trial was over, but a new journey had begun, for Talina, for her people, and for the human who had finally seen their worth. High above the glowing forests, a large shadow entered the planet's orbit. It was a Zenith Corporation warship, black, sharp, and silent. Its engines hummed with power and its hull bristled with scanning devices and weapon turrets. Inside, Governor Maris Cal stood at the command deck, eyes fixed on the planet below. We've confirmed the human commander's presence, an officer reported. Her ship is still on the surface. Cal frowned. Commander Celine Tsai is interfering where she doesn't belong. We gave her time. Now we take action. Elvira III has rare bioresources. The alien girls live on valuable land. If they won't trade, we'll secure it ourselves. Back on the planet, Celine stood on a high tree platform with Kyra. The wind carried, the sound of birds and leaves, but something felt wrong. Her communicator blinked. A warning. She checked the signal. It was a silent alert from her orbiting ship. Unknown vessel entering atmosphere. Possible threat. Before she could react, the Sky above split with a flash of red light. Zenith drones, round machines with blinking red eyes, descended like insects. They hovered over the trees, scanning everything. The alien girls looked up in silence. Their eyes glowed with worry. Selene turned to Kara. "We must act fast. This isn't a peaceful visit." Kyra narrowed her eyes. "Then we defend our home." At the village center, Yelena called a meeting. The elders, warriors, and young scouts gathered. Selene explained the danger. "Zenith wants your land, your plants, your secrets. They will not ask. They will take. They do not understand our world," Yelena said. "They only see what can be sold." Talina stepped forward. "Let me help. My bond with the Leviathan gives me speed. I can scout their machines." Soren, another brave hunter, spoke next. "I can destroy their signal points. Without control, their drones will fall." Kara turned to Selene. "Will you fight with us?" Selene nodded. "I have a plan. If I can reach my ship, I can call the Earth Coalition. They can stop Zenith if I survive long enough." That night, the forest prepared for battle. Alien girls sharpened crystal-tipped arrows. Others mixed glowing herbs into smoke bombs. Even the trees seemed to brace for the storm. Vines tightened and flowers closed. Selene, Kyra, Talina, and Soren moved in different directions, each on a mission. Talina flew high on her sky Leviathan, watching the enemy from above. She moved like a streak of silver through the clouds. She saw the drones spreading across the land and marked their weak points. Soren crawled through the glowing undergrowth. He reached a drone tower hidden near a rock formation. With quiet hands, he placed an energy disruptor at its base. The tower sparked, blinked, and collapsed into silence. Meanwhile, Selene sprinted toward her hidden ship. Drones chased her, but she dodged through trees and used the mist as cover. Her suit was scratched and her arm bruised, but she kept moving. Finally, she reached the ship, slid into the pilot seat, and activated emergency contact. "This is Commander Selene Tsai," she said. "Requesting immediate help. Zenith Corporation is attacking a peaceful species. Avira III is under threat." Back in the Glowwood, Zenith forces began landing. Their machines scanned the village, ready to clear anything in their path. But the Sky Clan was ready. From the trees came silent arrows. Smoke bombs exploded in blue mist. Warriors dropped from vines, confusing the drones. Leviathans dove from the sky, creating gusts of wind that threw machines off balance. Talina soared above the battlefield, guiding younger fighters. Kyra led a ground group, moving with speed and grace. Soren launched another disruptor, taking out a second tower. Drones dropped like stones. Then came a message. Selene's voice filled the air through her wrist communicator. "The Earth Coalition heard us. Help is coming. We just need to hold them back a little longer." The battle lasted until dawn. As sunlight touched the forest, the remaining Zenith forces pulled back. Their machines were damaged, their scans incomplete, and their leader frustrated. Governor Cal received a warning from orbit. "Earth Coalition fleet incoming. Orders?" He growled but gave the command. "Retreat." The Zenith ship rose back into space, disappearing into the black sky. On the forest floor, the alien girls stood tall. Some were injured, some tired, but all were proud. They had defended their home, not with hate, but with courage. Selene returned to the village. Kyra greeted her with a tired smile. "You kept your word." "And so did you," Selene said. "They'll think twice before coming back." As the twin moons rose again, the forest glowed with soft light. The SkyClan had proven their strength. They were wild, they were gentle, and now they were also known. Selene knew the galaxy had changed, and this was only the beginning. The battle for Avira III had ended, but the air still carried the scent of smoke and glowing dust. The forest, though wounded, stood strong. Broken branches, damaged platforms, and blackened leaves marked the places where the SkyClan had fought. But everywhere Selene looked, there were signs of healing too. The alien girls worked side by side, rebuilding their homes, caring for the injured, and singing soft songs that helped the forest grow again. Selene walked beside Kyra along. A vine bridge stretched between two trees. The bridge swayed gently in the breeze. Below, teams of healers moved through the village, checking on families and animals. Leviathans flew quietly in the distance, their bodies glowing faintly in the early morning light. They came with machines and fire, Kyra said, her voice calm but steady. But they did not understand this world. They thought we would run. Selene nodded. They saw only a wild forest and gentle people. They didn't know those could be powerful too. Nearby, Talina stood with her bonded Leviathan. She had led the younger warriors in battle and protected many from harm. Now she offered comfort to a small child who had been frightened during the attack. The sky Leviathan curled protectively around them like a soft shield of light and air. In the healing circle, Yelena moved from one patient to the next. She used glowing moss, healing powders, and herbal mist to treat wounds. Some of the warriors had bruises and cuts, but none had been lost. That, to the Sky Clan, was a victory greater than gold. Selene sat beside Yelena, helping to pass clean cloths and warm water. She watched as Yelena pressed a glowing leaf to a burn on a warrior's arm. The skin began to heal almost at once. "This place is full of wonder," Selene said softly. "Not just your people, but the planet itself. You and the forest are one." Yelena looked at her with kind eyes. "That is why we protect it. We are not just defenders of land. We are part of it. When the forest hurts, we hurt too. And when it grows strong again, so do we." Suddenly, a message came through Selene's communicator. It was from the United Earth Coalition ship now in orbit. "Commander Tsai, this is Captain Ortega of the UEC Peacekeeper. We have arrived and confirmed Zenith's withdrawal. Do you require further support?" Selene replied quickly, "No further action needed. The Sky Clan has secured their land, but we must speak of protection. This planet deserves recognition as a sovereign ally." "Understood," came the reply. "We'll begin preparations for a peace summit." The next few days passed with quiet rebuilding and hopeful discussions. The Sky Clan invited members from nearby clans to meet and share ideas. Together with Selene, they planned the upcoming summit. It would be the first time leaders from Earth and Elvira III would sit together to discuss peace, respect, and unity. On the day of the summit, the central gathering tree was decorated with glowing vines and sky flowers. Elders from different clans arrived, along with Earth diplomats who landed their ship in a nearby clearing. There was no fear, only quiet curiosity and hope. Talina, Kyra, Soren, Yelena, and Selene stood together at the front of the circle. Around them, the forest shimmered with soft light. Birds sang from above, and the wind carried a peaceful tune. Captain Ortega stepped forward. He looked around, clearly amazed by the beauty of the place. "I've seen many worlds," he said, "but none like this." Selene introduced the Sky Clan and explained their way of life, the harmony, the strength, the balance. Then she spoke of the battle, of how they had defended their home not with anger but with heart and unity. Kyra raised her staff. "We do not seek war. We seek understanding. Let this summit be a new path." The Earth delegates agreed. Papers were signed. The Elvira Accord was born, an agreement to protect Elvira III as a sovereign world. No one would take its resources without permission. No one would treat its people as anything less than equals. That night, a celebration lit the forest. Lanterns, made from glowing fruit, hung in the trees. The alien girls danced with flowing grace, their garments shining in many colors. The Earth guests watched with wonder. Music filled the air, blending alien tones with soft human rhythms. Selene sat quietly, watching it all. Her heart was full. This journey had changed her. What began as a simple mission had become something far greater. Talina sat beside her and smiled. "You helped us, not just with words, but by seeing who we truly are." Selene returned the smile. "And you helped me remember what real strength looks like." As the night grew deeper and stars filled the sky, one thing became clear to everyone present. Elvira the Third was no longer just a mystery on the edge of space. It was a place of light, of wisdom, and of friendship. And now, the whole galaxy would know its worth. ChatGPT said, the twin moons of Elvira the Third rose slowly into the night sky, casting silver light across the glowing forest. Peace had returned to the land. The trees stood tall once more, the vines healed, and the creatures of the forest sang in soft harmony. The Sky Clan moved through their home with quiet joy, their hearts light, knowing their world was safe again. Commander Selene Tsai stood at the edge of the high platform, watching the stars. Behind her, the village was alive with music and gentle laughter. The celebration of the Elvira Accord had lasted for days. Songs, dances, and stories had been shared. For the first time, humans and alien girls celebrated as equals. Beside Selene, Kyra appeared with two glowing cups in her hands. She handed one to Selene with a small smile. "Sky fruit juice," Kyra said. "Sweet and calming." Selene took a sip and nodded. "It's perfect, just like this moment." The two stood in silence for a while, watching as a group of young girls practiced dance steps near the glowing flowers. Their robes shimmered in the light, changing colors with each movement. "So much has changed," Kyra said softly. "Yes," Selene replied, "but in a good way. The galaxy now knows who you are. They won't see you as a mystery or danger anymore. They'll see your strength and your wisdom." Word of the Elvira Accord had spread quickly across the stars. Other human planets began sending peaceful envoys, hoping to learn from the alien girls. Many were curious about their healing arts, their sky leviathans, and their deep bond with the forest. But the Sky Clan did not open their world to everyone. Only those who came with respect were welcomed. Selena helped guide the first visitors, teaching them to listen, not just look. The alien girls shared their ways slowly, like a flower opening at dawn. Talina had become a leader among the younger generation. Her bond with the Sky Leviathan was strong, and she had begun training others in air guidance. She led young girls in trial flights and helped them understand the connection between trust and balance. Soren, brave and clever, worked with a group of human engineers who wanted to study the forest technology. He taught them how the vines responded to touch and light. Together, they designed new tools that worked in harmony with nature, not against it. Yelena, the wise healer, now shared her knowledge with doctors across nearby star systems. Her use of glowing moss and forest herbs helped cure many illnesses that human medicine had struggled with. But she always reminded her students healing comes from care, not just from tools. Selene, meanwhile, chose to stay on Elvira the Third. She had found something in the forest she didn't even know she was searching for, a sense of belonging. She became the official Earth liaison, but was more than that. She was a friend, a student, and a protector of the Sky Clan. One evening, as Selene walked along the River of Light, she saw a group of alien girls sitting in a circle. They were telling stories, some old, some new. When they noticed her, they called her over. "Tell us." "Your story," one of the girls asked. Selene sat down and smiled. "A long time ago, a human ship passed over this world. Most people didn't stop, they were afraid. But one woman was curious. She saw lights in the forest and wanted to know more. As she spoke, the girls leaned closer. She met a people who were wild like the wind and gentle like the rain. They taught her that strength is not always loud and kindness is not always weak. They showed her that the best way to lead is to listen. Kyra, listening nearby, nodded. And she stayed, because she saw the worth in those others ignored. "Yes," Selene said, and she helped others see it too. The girls clapped quietly, their eyes shining. In their minds, the story was not just about one woman. It was a story of their people, of how they stood strong without hate, of how they changed minds without war. Later that night, Selene stood again beneath the twin moons. She looked up at the stars and thought of how far they had come. What was once a hidden world was now a symbol of peace and respect. The alien girls, once called too wild and too gentle, were now known across the galaxy as protectors, healers, and guides. Their balance had become their strength, and their light had touched more hearts than they had ever imagined. As the wind whispered through the glowing trees and the sky leviathans flew silently above, Celine smiled. Avira the Third was no longer just a distant planet in space.